We have two of the stars of this incredible film. We have Ms. Sofia Boutella and Ms. Shirley Temple. So you made it out alive, huh?
Did you make it out
Just
alive?
barely. It was really interesting watching it here with this audience compared to seeing it in Cannes, because in Cannes there was like an industry screening and people were just stunned. They were shocked, there were signs. Here people picked up on the humor of the film, and then there were beats and you felt the room moving. But yeah, it's a fascinating film, it's an incredible film. I'd like to start with you, Sofia. How did you first become involved? We go all the way back to the beginning, because Gaspar reached out to you via Instagram, right? Yeah.
He messaged me on Instagram, sending me a lovely message saying that he had something in mind. He had seen some videos of me dancing, and he wanted to meet with me. And I happened to be in Paris at the time, and I told my representation, just in case, you know, this is happening, and he told me you should go. I said absolutely. I knew his work from before. I've seen all his work. I love I Stand Alone and Enter the Void being my favorite, and Irreversible, of course. But I was intrigued by what kind of person he was, and of course, I mean, the honor to just meet him, because I think he's fascinating. So yeah, we sat, and he told me about what he had in mind, which was very bare. It wasn't very elaborate.
Were you the first person involved with the film at that point, or had he already started to shape the rest of the cast and the story?
I believe he had been, he's been like going around to dance events, and he has been like eyeing people that he really liked, like putting together something, you know, some sort of map in his in his brain. But his whole idea was just to do. He just told me, I just want to do a movie with dancers. I said, okay, and what else? And he said, I just want to experience and see what dancers would do if they were spiked with a large amount of LSD. I said, okay, and what else? And he said, I don't know. That's fascinating to me, because really liking his work, I always wonder why they're reoccurrent, you know, themes of drugs, sex, and violence. And by researching your director, you understand why they do what they do, I suppose, but not that it's a necessity, but he's just somebody that's truly and genuinely fascinated by people losing control.
Sex, drugs, and violence.
Whenever you're losing control, I mean, when you're sexually aroused and when you're under the influence, but, and I love like how he goes there. I think it's fascinating.
And he goes there. And speaking of going there, Charlene, this was your first film, right?
I mean, yeah, my first big one.
What a way to start. Did Gaspar find you on Instagram as well, or how did you become involved?
He just came to me in Paris on the ball, and that's all.
And where were you? Was this at a dance competition?
Yeah, it's like vlogging, you know,
yeah.
vlogging dance competition, kind of. And he just came to me. I won that night, like women performance category, so.
There you go.
Yeah, here we go.
How can you not go up to her?
So yeah, he just came to me, asked my name, and that's all. And then he called me, yeah.
And were you aware of his work? Did you know his films before?
Nope. I mean, but he said it's okay because I'm young, okay?
I assume, so after you met him, did you then go and watch his films?
Yeah. I mean, he was telling me a lot about his film with Monica Bellucci, and then about like Enter the Void, but I watched them both. Yeah, that's all I watched. But I loved Enter the Void, it's cute.
Cute.
Yeah.
I've heard Enter the Void be described in many ways, but never has anyone described it as cute. So obviously, Sofia, you've made many films coming from the dance world, but then Charlene being your first film, how did you prep for this film, and how did you make the transition from being a dancer to an actress?
I mean, I got experience of working in theater as an actress, so it wasn't that hard. And it's I think it's pretty easy to be like dragged or something, you know, to pretend that you're, you know, that's it. Yeah.
And then so Sofia, you've obviously played, as I said, you played a series of roles. You've been some quite evil villains. If we think about you in The Kingsman with your razor sharp legs, and then as the mummy, you're very much the moral compass, I think, in this film. How did you prepare yourself for this? How was this different from the way in which you immersed yourselves in other roles? Because you like to, when you start to work on a film, you like to go really deep.
I wasn't ready to dance when he offered me the part, because I haven't danced at the time for 6 years, and merging the two was something that was a bit tricky for me. But in a way, you know, we only had 15 days to shoot, and we literally went home for a few hours in order to sleep. That's all. But you stay with. But I think, to me, honestly, is by staying with the director. It's my point of reference. And I didn't have other point of reference, because every day we shot in sequence, and we had no idea what we were going to shoot the next day. So we had only 5 pages treatment. And I knew, I mean, when I sat down with Gaspar, and this is something that he allowed me to do, because I told him, I was always fascinated with Isabella Gianni's scene in Possession, where she freaks out, because seeing it for the first time, and it's referenced here as well, we sort of saw eye to eye in that moment, because I just wanted to explore something that resembled that psychologically, and he said, let's do it. He's so collaborative, and he's so open for a discussion. He doesn't just let you do whatever, but he's definitely present, and I find him very reliable, you know, and I really trust his choices and trust him, and he has mad instincts. It was just that scene was the only thing that I knew where it was going to get. So to create the arc, knowing where you come from and where you go, is very. Is that a gusto?
You have a fan. Threw me off as well. It's okay. So let's get to that treatment. So there was no script, right? So what did the treatment look like? And then as you're coming into work every day, how would that start? Charlene, for you as well. First time on set, no script.
Yeah, I mean, we usually set on the day what we should do, so you just should remember before you start eating food. So it's kind of fun, you know. And we got rehearsals a little bit, so yeah.
Yeah, how extensive were those rehearsals? Because there are some shots in this film that go on and on and on and on, and take you and integrate all of the characters. So how were those shots created? How were they constructed? And to what extent did you physically go through them in advance?
Yeah, so Nina McNally is a choreographer. She's there. She's there. Because she was creating all these movement things and how we were standing. Yeah. And before, like, Gaspar started shooting, she was always shooting on her phone and showing to Gaspar. So it was easy to work with her. Yeah.
And Gaspar shot. He had a cinematographer, right? But he shot this ultimately himself.
He shot every single frame of the movie. Yeah, he had the camera on his shoulder. Even we had a crane for 2 days or a day, I forgot. And he maneuvered that as well.
There's obviously the dance. There's so much in this film, but the dancing.
Yeah, Nina and everybody had, and we all had 2 days. Was it 2? I think 2. Yeah, it was 2 days to rehearse that big sequence, which is like all one shot, I promise.
How many takes?
17. I believe this one was 17. But every day we came to rehearse, like even if it wasn't like in terms of where we were gonna go story-wise. I would come in the morning, say, Gaspar, what are we doing? So I don't know yet. So we would like warm up, get ready, hair and makeup on our own, getting dressed on our own. It was very much a community. And I think the movie is very much an ensemble, and it shows, and we lived that way for 15 days. But we would get ready and go downstairs and put some music on and rehearse for, like, warm up, and then rehearse for about like 4 hours, go to lunch, and then shoot 8 to 10 minute scenes. And each scene was like, we shot maybe between 14 and 17 takes of all of them.
And then did all of those scenes actually make it into the film, or were there long scenes that just, in the editing process, Gaspar pulled it out because he didn't feel it worked, he wanted to go a different direction?
No, all of them are there. He showed us every day what we shot the day before in order to have a reference to where we could go, and everybody would have of course, their ideas and what they wanted to do with their characters, and Gaspar would know what sort of camera movement he wanted to do, what he wanted to explore, what energy and how to build. I saw the movie, I think, 4 times, and I'm still fascinated with how he built the tension, because I couldn't find it at first when I saw it, but it's very much felt coming, from where we start and where we end.
Yeah, it's a tension, but it's also a descent as well as you start to kind of go down this into Dante's Inferno as he pulls you down. And you said it was very kind of collaborative on set, but Charlene, as a dancer surrounded by all of these other dancers, are these people that you knew in advance? Did you know them from the?
Yeah, most of them.
Was there any friendly competition on the set?
Yeah, kind of. We just exchange our own experience, different dance styles, different movements. So yeah.
And it was very much a case of bringing the A game, I assume, because you wanted to better each other.
Not really. I mean, it was kind of teamwork. Can I say that?
And so the actual dance sequence itself, just kind of getting back to that, how much of that was created by the choreographers and how much of that was actually created by the dancers themselves?
Nina was a big part of how this turned out, because you would see Gaspar running around looking for Nina and seeing how the movement would translate how the story would go. And it's a big part of the film, obviously.
There's a quote. So there's a quote from Variety, and the quote is, "Gaspar Noe is a filmmaker who wants to show you hell on earth." The question both of you is, what did Gaspar show you?
I mean, honestly, he showed me art through cinema and how to translate that, coming from an instinct that's so strong within him, not necessarily putting everything on the page or saying everything what he's about to do, but seeing what he does with the camera to me is fascinating. How he builds an emotion and a feeling, and that's something that I think that something that I keep in mind and that I'm so grateful for him is that even if you don't like his movies, he makes you feel something, and that's to me the purpose of art in general. So I'm just so grateful for him in that sense. So I definitely that was just restored faith in art and cinema, in my opinion.
Amazing. And Charlene, what does Gaspar show you?
I totally agree. The feeling for me in the movie when I watch, it's the most important part. Really, if I don't feel where I'm spending my time, no. So yeah, the feeling.
And so, when was the first time that you saw this film, and what was your reaction?
So first film I watched, it was with Monica Bellucci. I forgot the name. Sorry.
No, sorry. When was the first time you saw Climax? Yeah.
Oh yeah, in Cannes.
Okay. With the rest of the cast?
Yeah.
And that was the first time that everyone saw it?
Yeah.
How was the response?
It was nice. It was kind of weird. After you get a weird feeling that you will never have drugs again, but in an hour you're fine. Promise.
War on drugs lost.
Yeah, but this time it was my favorite. Really, I enjoyed it so much. Wow. Really.
We'll take it. That's awesome. And then Sofia, how was it for the first time that you saw it? Because it must have been very different seeing the thing be pieced together and Gaspar creating, I think probably in particular your art, probably more than anyone else's. How was that?
I had no idea what I was going to see. I think after I saw it, I was like, oh, that's the movie we've done. I had close to zero expectations, and I think having seen or having shot the scenes gives you nothing what you were going to feel in the end. And I was just wildly surprised in what he did with the sequence, and then some of the conversation that we had. I was wondering where he was going to go with that. I'm a massive fan of the credits in the middle of the film, and yeah, I wanted to see it again. And I usually, I do watch the movies that I'm in, but I don't watch them more than once. And I saw it 3 or 4 times, I think, because I'm so fascinated with how he did what he did.
Yeah, and there's so much in the periphery, in the outside of the principal characters, and the people that are weaving in and out. It's fascinating to watch. Let's take some questions from the audience. Do we have any